Sarah Martinez adjusted her designer blazer as she walked through the gates of Riverside Park. The morning sun cast long shadows across the playground, and the familiar sounds of children laughing filled the air. Beside her, 5-year-old Emma walked quietly, her small hand tucked safely in her mother's palm. Sarah glanced down at her daughter's face. Emma's dark eyes took in everything around her with careful attention, but as always, she remained silent. The doctors had assured Sarah there was nothing physically wrong with Emma's voice. The little girl simply chose not to speak, and no amount of therapy or gentle encouragement had changed that fact. The playground was moderately busy for a Tuesday morning. A few mothers sat on benches, sipping coffee and watching their toddlers navigate the sandbox. Children climbed on monkey bars and slid down colorful slides, their voices creating a cheerful symphony that Emma absorbed but never joined. Sarah found an empty bench near the swings and settled down, her phone already buzzing with work notifications. As CEO of a growing tech company, she rarely had time for playground visits, but her assistant had rearranged her morning meetings. Emma needed this normalcy, this chance to be around other children, even if she didn't interact with them. Emma stood beside the bench for a moment, watching the other children play. Then, with the quiet determination that Sarah had come to recognize, she walked toward the swing set. Her small sneakers made soft sounds against the rubber playground surface. The swings were mostly empty except for one at the far end, where a man was gently pushing a boy who looked to be about Emma's age. The man had sandy brown hair and wore a simple t-shirt and jeans. There was something peaceful about the way he moved, taking his time with each push, never rushing the rhythm. Emma approached the swing next to them and climbed on carefully. She began to pump her legs the way Sarah had taught her, gaining momentum slowly but steadily. Sarah watched from the bench, her heart doing that familiar dance between pride and worry that came with every small step of independence her daughter took. The man at the neighboring swing glanced over and offered a friendly smile. "Beautiful morning for the playground," he said to Emma, his voice gentle and unhurried. Emma didn't respond, but she didn't look uncomfortable either. She continued swinging, her long hair flowing behind her with each arc through the air. "I'm David," the man continued, still pushing his son. "This is my boy, Jake. We come here most mornings before I head to work." Jake waved enthusiastically at Emma. "Hi, do you like swings? They're my favorite." "Well, except for the monkey bars, but I'm not tall enough for those yet." Emma's swinging slowed slightly as she listened to Jake's cheerful chatter. Sarah noticed the subtle change in her daughter's posture, the way she leaned slightly toward the conversation without quite joining it. David seemed to understand something that many adults missed. He didn't press Emma to respond or comment on her quietness. Instead, he continued his easy conversation, speaking to both children as if Emma's silence was perfectly natural. "Jake's been working on pumping his legs by himself," David said, giving his son's swing a gentler push. "It takes practice, doesn't it?" Emma nodded, just slightly, but it was enough to make Sarah's breath catch. Such a small gesture, but it was engagement, connection. "My dad says I'm getting really good at it," Jake announced proudly. "Want to see me go really high?" Before anyone could respond, Jake began pumping his legs with determined effort. His swing climbed higher, and his delighted laughter filled the air. Emma watched with obvious fascination, her own swing gradually slowing as she focused on Jake's performance. Then something unexpected happened. Jake's enthusiasm got the better of him, and he tried to swing even higher. The chain twisted slightly, and suddenly he was off balance. His happy laughter turned to a startled cry as he realized he was going to fall. Without thinking, Emma called out. Not loudly, but clearly and urgently, "Hold on tight." The words hung in the air like magic. David's hands immediately steadied Jake's swing, and the boy regained his balance, but Sarah felt as if the world had stopped spinning. Emma had spoken. After 2 years of silence, after countless doctor visits and therapy sessions, after nights of Sarah wondering if she'd ever hear her daughter's voice again, Emma had found her words to help another child. David looked over at Emma with gentle surprise and gratitude. "Thank you," he said simply. "That was very helpful." Emma's cheeks flushed pink, but she didn't retreat into silence. Instead, she said softly, "Is he okay?" "I'm okay," Jake replied, still catching his breath but grinning. Thanks for warning me. That was really nice of you. Sarah rose from the bench slowly, hardly daring to breathe. She walked toward the swings, her executive composure completely abandoned in favor of wonder. Emma, she said carefully. Emma turned toward her mother, and Sarah saw something different in her daughter's expression. There was still the familiar thoughtfulness, but now there was also a spark of confidence, as if she'd rediscovered something important about herself. Mama, Emma said, and the word was like sunlight breaking through clouds. I helped him. Sarah knelt beside the swing, tears threatening to spill over. Yes, sweetheart, you absolutely did. David had been quietly watching this reunion, understanding dawning in his expression. Has Emma been working on finding her voice? He asked Sarah gently. Sarah nodded, not trusting herself to speak without crying. Well, David said, addressing Emma directly, you chose a perfect moment to use it. Jake could have gotten hurt if you hadn't spoken up. Emma considered this seriously. I saw he was scared. I had to help. Jake had climbed down from his swing and was now standing near Emma. Do you want to play on the monkey bars with me? My dad can help us reach them. Emma looked at her mother, then back at Jake. I'd like that, she said simply. As the morning progressed, Emma's voice grew stronger and more frequent. She wasn't suddenly chatty, but she participated in conversations with Jake and David as they moved from playground equipment to playground equipment. Sarah followed at a respectful distance, marveling at each new word, each laugh, each moment of connection. When it came time for David and Jake to leave for school and work, Jake gave Emma a quick hug. Will you be here tomorrow? He asked hopefully. Emma looked at Sarah, then back at Jake. I think so, if Mama doesn't have too many meetings. Sarah laughed, surprising herself. I think I can rearrange a few things. David gathered Jake's backpack and water bottle, then paused near Sarah. Thank you for a lovely morning. It's not often Jake meets someone who understands the importance of looking out for others. Thank you, Sarah replied, her voice thick with emotion. I think Emma needed to remember that she had something important to say. As David and Jake walked toward the parking lot, Emma remained on the playground, but now she was humming quietly to herself. It was a sound Sarah hadn't heard in 2 years, and it was beautiful. Are you ready to go home, sweetheart? Sarah asked eventually. Emma nodded, then surprised her mother by taking her hand and saying, Mama, can we come back tomorrow? I want to play with Jake again. Of course we can, Sarah promised, squeezing her daughter's hand gently. As they walked back toward the car, Emma chatted softly about the swings and the monkey bars and how nice Jake and his father had been. Each word was a gift, a reminder that sometimes the most important moments happen when we least expect them. Sarah realized that she'd been so focused on fixing Emma's silence that she'd forgotten the most important thing. Emma would speak when she had something meaningful to say. Today, faced with another child's need, she'd found her voice again. Not because she was pushed or pressured, but because she chose to use it for something that mattered. The drive home was filled with Emma's quiet observations about the morning, and Sarah found herself smiling in a way she hadn't for months. Tomorrow morning, she would clear her schedule again. Some things, she realized, were far more important than any meeting or deadline. Her daughter had found her voice, and Sarah intended to make sure there was always time to listen.